Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And today we're going to talk about what levels we need to be watching both in the stock market and in crypto. But before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Smash that subscribe button and you'll get the daily updates. So first of all, let's move over to Bitcoin, and then we're going to talk about the SPY. So first of all, as we look at the Bitcoin market here, what we do see is the Tribal Trades indicator. One indicator to rule them all has again nailed that pretty close to or around the top of this move, and we've had a huge move now to the downside there from 124 all the way down to, actually I think we got as low as about $108,000. Okay, now of course the level to watch is going to be $108,000 and currently 100. That is the 20 EMA on the weekly, where also the Tribal Trades trend line is one trend line to rule them all. And of course, if we were to lose that level, we do have a large drop down to the 200-day moving average, which is at $100,000 there. Now, however, there is a level in between there, which is the 200 EMA on the daily, which is 103,000. I do expect this level to get tagged as more likely to happen. Remember, in the markets we trade in probabilities, and the probability that of if we were to lose this level, that 108,100 level, the probability would be quite high to get down to this 103 and possibly 100. Now, of course, what could change all of this is the possibility of rate cuts. So when the jobs report comes in about a week or so, which will be August jobs report, which will be released in September, if that is weak, then what we've seen based off last week's Jackson Hole speech by Fed Powell is that the rate cuts, chances of rate cuts would soar, and therefore I think the market could respond favorably to that. And then we have CPI data that comes in on the September the 11th for August, and if that again is cool, then of course the rate cut chances will even soar greater for that September 17th, 18th FOMC meeting. So those are the levels to watch out for, and those are the events to watch out for as well, because you could see a bit of a turnaround like we saw. We had the Tribal Trades indicator give us this beautiful bullish reversal signal. It then gave us a bearish reversal signal about a week or so later. If you're a swing trader, these are perfect signals. And then we had a bullish reversal signal. However, it ended up, we had a bearish reversal triangle there because we're not able to get above the 9 EMA on the daily. And if you look here, very interesting, the 9 dropped below the 20, and now the 20 looks like it's going to drop below the 50 there. It's quite bearish for the markets there. And if this continues, we'll see the 9 drop below the 100, the 20 drop below the 100, and the 50 drop below the 100. And eventually what happens is what we saw over in the markets back in February. And I want to show you something here on the MACD on the weekly. One of the Tribal Trades community members pointed this out, say, check out the MACD on the weekly. And so I checked out the MACD on the weekly. And of course, there is a bearish crossover. The last time that happened was back in February of this year. You can see that bearish crossover, and look what happened to the downside there. And so we saw quite a decent correction there when there was that crossover, and that crossover has now happened for the first time since February. Okay, so and then I just want to show you what happened in February here. Okay, so I've jumped to February. There you can see the drop down from February, and what you can see is the 9 crossing below the 20, the dark pink below the light pink, and then the 50, it gets crossed to the downside. And then before you know it, the 9 now is all the way below the 100, which is here, the 100, and now the 200. And we get all the way down to a situation where the 9 is below the 20 is below the 50 gets below the 200, And it's just the 100 actually that doesn't get down. Usually we have all five there, the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200. And then, of course, what happens is when there's a reversal, the 9 crosses back above the 20, then the 20 there crosses above the 50, then the 50 crosses back over the 100 there, of course, and then the 200 is at the bottom. And we've seen that all the way to the top of this move here, where you have beautifully the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 in order. Now that is starting to reverse. So those are the levels to look for Bitcoin. Of course, what do we look for? Any retest where we come up and retest the 9 EMA on the daily, currently at 113,400. And if we were to break above that, then that could be an entry at any moment. Of course, the 9 EMA actually on any time frame is a place where if it holds, you can take an entry. However, the shorter the time frame that you take it on, the shorter the trade. And so if we're looking for a bit of a longer move there, a break above that 9 EMA, hold above that and begin to move, and then the 9 will come back over the 20 over the 50, and then order is restored from a bullish perspective. So those are the levels I've given there to the upside, 113,400 today. And then, of course, if we look at the level to hold there is that 108,100. Otherwise, the 103,000 and the 100,000 levels are the levels to watch. Okay, so here we are on the SPY. And of course, the level to hold here on the SPY is sitting at $640.75. Now, we've lost the Fibonacci in pre-market trading. That's sitting at 641.62 currently. Let's see what happens when the market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the line hold is 640.75. We saw what happened with Bitcoin when it lost that line, when it lost the 9. There you can see it lost the 9, closed under it, the 9 crossed below the 20, and then it's been downhill. Is Bitcoin leading and being a front runner to what we may see with the SPY? The key for me is the 9 EMA. If we lose that, come down, and then we saw this, and then we got this bullish news. This is all that it was, just the one pump on the Friday. And since then, it's been red candles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles out of 6. And so we do have a little bit of a double top situation here as well with the SPY. So I do lean that this could see some more to the downside. Now, remember, we do have the Nvidia earnings coming up on Wednesday. And if I do expect those earnings can come in quite strong. However, if they don't, make sure you have those stop losses set, because we could see a bit of a significant drop. And even if they do come in strong, it could be a little bit of a sell the news event, buy the rumor of strong earnings and then sell the news event. And so this is the line that we need to watch here. The 9 EMA on the daily, if we lose that level, 637 would be the line here that we had this. And of course, the 50-day moving average is down there at 625. And that's quite a significant drop there. Of course, before we were to ever get to that, there would be 631, which is the 9 EMA on the weekly time frame there. Those are some levels to the downside. Of course, to the upside, we had this $649 level. That's our resistance to the upside. If we were to get some news or the Nvidia earnings come in strong, we could pop up there and retest. I'm just not feeling confident that regardless, I think if the Nvidia earnings come in very strong, I think we could see a pump for Nvidia and a pump for the stock market, but I'm not sure how sustained that pump will be. It might just be a bit of a sell the news event. And of course, if the earnings aren't good, I do expect a drop there in the market. Let's have a quick look at Nvidia here in the There we go. And let's see how we're going there. Again, we are holding on to the 9 EMA on the daily time frame. It looked like it was about to curl over and it didn't. Of course, we did lose along with the stock market. Look, there's the tribal trades indicator again, giving that nice bullish reversal. We had a bearish reversal there. Again, this level to hold is going to be 178.13, and the resistance to the upside is $183 there for Nvidia, where I think it could possibly get to higher if we see a significant pump. I'll show you that in a moment. But to the downside, the risk is down here at 169. We have a Fibonacci level, and then the 50-day moving average at 167. Let's flip to the weekly time frame there, and you see, look how this perfectly tagged the 9 EMA on the weekly. At the time, it was right at the Fibonacci at 169. Now it's at 171. That's the other level there. If we get great earnings and that, we might see we've got a Fibonacci at 192 and one at 194. So somewhere around between 192 to 194, that could shoot up. And of course, if the market gets really parabolic about it, then we jump up to that 200 to around that $206 level. Those are the moves to the upside there. Well, those are my perspectives there. Now, so I do want to take you to a trade that I gave in the Tribal Trades Discord yesterday, and it was the ASTS trade. This was absolutely incredible. I gave the trade actually around this $27 level. Now, ASTX is the 2x leverage play of ASTS, and you can see in the Tribal Trades Discord, April Parker made her $1,000 goal for the day almost entirely off the stock play that I gave, which was the ASTX play. Absolutely fantastic there. Play that was taken, and of course, where is the setup? There it is here. As you can see, an entry on the hold at $27.23, and the target was actually $30. It actually exceeded that target there. And of course, what do we see here? There it is there, and look what happened. Absolutely incredible. Exceeded that target, came back to the 9 EMA, gave you a second chance to get in, and now it is sitting back at the 9 EMA. Now, this level was to hold, which is at $29 and about 80 cents, the 9 EMA on the 1 hour. And of course, this is a moving indicator, so you'll have to keep an eye on this on your charts as to what level this is. That can be an entry there for ASTS, but be careful. It has put in a huge move. Again, the beautiful Tribal Trades indicator, one indicator to rule them all there, absolutely giving some great signals there. However, be careful, have a stop loss set there. If it was to lose this level, then the next level down is $28.90, and then a full retrace back to where the entry was. So if it was to lose this level here, I would be pretty quick to cut the play there. All right, so of course, the Tribal Trades Discord, if you're interested in joining the Tribal Trades Discord, it's currently closed. However, you can join the waitlist. And how you get on the wait list is below in the description of this video. You might need to click the more button for the description to pop out. There is a link at the top to join the Tribal Trades Discord wait list. And therefore, when I do open the Discord up again in the wait list, those who are highest up the wait list will get moved into the Tribal Trades Discord. So the sooner you get on the wait list, the better. And of course, if there are those that aren't able to renew the subscription or use a subscription for any reason, I have been moving people off the waitlist portion of the Discord into the Tribal Trades Discord community. I call it family because that's what it is for me, of course. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. So until the next episode, or until I see you on the Discord, happy trading.